Finally. I finally found it. You see, everybody wants the look of film, but not everybody is willing to shoot it.
A blast from the past, photographers still shooting film in 2025.
You know, when digital cameras first took the world by storm, there were a reluctant group of photographers that didn't want to move on. Little did they know, they would be the reason why film photography is still alive today. Who knows, maybe it is a feeling. Maybe it's nostalgia, you know, a reminder to how we once saw the world. The only problem is replicating the look of film on a digital camera is not easy. Until now. This is the Olympus EP1, a camera released in 2009, marking this camera 17 years old in 2026. It has a modest 12.3 megapixel sensor, autofocus slower than a turtle crawling on sand, and a back screen with the resolution of a Game Boy.
This camera is not fair. Really? Look at the photo on there.
But before you write this camera off, there are two things that make this vintage digital camera unlike anything you've ever seen before. Number one, the price. And number two, how this camera makes every single frame look as if it were shot on film.
So when you look at the Olympus EP1, the first thing that you can see is the build on the camera. It actually has a really interesting, almost film-like build, and I feel like they don't really make digital cameras like these anymore because the body feels extremely durable. It has like this beautiful kind of silver chrome finishing to it. But here's a quick little tour. I have it outfitted with the 17mm 1.8 Mark II from Olympus. I got a 35mm optical viewfinder, which is essentially going to be the same focal length as this one right here. And when you turn the camera back around, it's pretty much everything you would expect from a camera from 12 years ago. You do get this really cool scroll wheel. It's like a vertical scroll wheel that controls your aperture. And like I said, they don't really make cameras like these anymore. It feels very premium in the hands. Alright, so something about this camera that's really interesting is when you look at the back side and look at the images here, like Joe was showing you guys earlier, man, the pictures look like film, just straight out of the camera. And I don't know if it's because of the back screen itself, just the way it looks. If the images inside of the screen look as good as they do when you export them, this is going to be a very dangerous camera, an extremely dangerous camera. It looks like film. We
right?
literally, we would have missed everything, bro. Hey, shout out to Joe.
Bro, good
Mr.
thing
Tam right here.
good thing we didn't go. Mr. Tam. Hey, good thing we didn't go. I mean, good thing we went, actually.
Good thing we went. We were literally not about to go because we looked up and the clouds were kind of whatever.
Yeah, but this looks like that. That was a good time.
It was a good time.
King James.
It's Joe, bro.
And now a quick break from our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is your all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Now, if you're looking to create a stunning photography website, Squarespace has you covered. With cutting-edge design tools like Blueprint AI, you can essentially tailor your perfect website by just answering a couple of different questions. There are also a ton of different award-winning drag-and-drop templates that you can use to get a portfolio up and running within minutes. And by far, one of my favorite features is the e-commerce shop, where you can sell prints, digital products, subscriptions, online services, with a ton of different useful features such as appointment scheduling and even invoicing. So to get started with your own professional website today, head over to squarespace.com/KingJapes and enter promo code KingJapes at checkout, and you'll get 10% off of your first purchase of a domain or a website. Huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Alright, so I brought the camera home, put the SD card into my computer, and I was able to see the files on my computer screen, and I can confirm they look just as good as they do on the back screen. Now you guys gotta remember, this camera is from 2009, and there were a couple of different, kind of like picture modes built into the camera. They don't call them film simulations yet, they call them picture modes, and the one that I have selected is natural. So if you guys are thinking of getting this camera and you wanna get results similar to what you've seen in today's video, use the natural mode. With that said, there were a few things that kind of caught me off guard when looking at the files straight out of the camera. First and foremost, I shot this both in JPEG as well as in RAW. And upon dissecting the files, I was surprised because the difference between the JPEG and the RAW file looked extremely different. The JPEGs typically had less contrast, softer color, the images weren't as saturated as the RAW file itself. And when shooting in JPEG, this camera tends to bring the shadow exposure up slightly, and you can kind of tell that it's all happening in camera because some of the shadow areas start to see a little bit of noise. Whereas if you look at the RAW files, everything is extremely contrasty, the blacks are very deep, the colors are very deep, but you do get a more kind of clean starting base than you would with the JPEG. The JPEG almost gives you that film look straight off the bat, whereas the RAW files tend to give you more of a kind of balanced, more neutral look that you can then edit to look more like film. Now, I personally have mixed feelings about this because some of the JPEG files I really like the look of just straight out of the camera. You don't even need to edit. There was one in there that I pulled straight out. Colors look good, contrast looked good, the exposure looked really good. I didn't really have to do anything to it. In fact, every single image you saw in the initial testing were all of the JPEGs. The only time I'm showing you the RAW files are right now, and as you can see, they are a little bit more rich. Now, for posting just on like social media and not really caring too much about the resolution and whatnot, I'm gonna go with the JPEGs hands down. I think the images straight out of the camera look really good, but if I were to do any type of like printing or maybe even putting it into like a zine or a book, then I would need to use the RAW file because I think the RAW file just is a little bit more flexible when it comes to editing. And I just gotta say straight up, both of the JPEG and RAW files already sort of look like film. But folks, there's something special about this sensor. Maybe because it was made in 2009 when everything was transitioning more into digital cameras. Maybe the sensor had a better kind of color science when it comes to replicating the look of film. Again, this is just me speculating, but I've shot so many different digital cameras over the years, and none of them have really come this close other than, maybe like a Fuji X Pro 3 to replicating the look of film, in my opinion. And for being a camera that costs, just around 100 to maybe even 200 bucks, add a lens to it there, maybe even like a nice little viewfinder right here, you're getting a really, really interesting setup because it's definitely not something that is going to be fast. It doesn't have, the best autofocus performance. It's small, it's compact. I mean, just look at the size of it compared to my hand right here. 12.3 megapixels is nothing to write home about, but the images that come out of it and just the look and feel of it, I definitely feel like far outweigh the resolution. And if you're thinking of picking this camera up and for it to be, the best kind of street photography camera ever, it's not gonna be that, folks. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, it's very slow and you need to be patient with it. But if you're someone looking for sort of like an everyday camera that you don't really care too much about because it's not too expensive, you can literally bring it with you everywhere you go. This is something that I would definitely recommend, the Olympus EP1. Just look at the build quality. They don't make digital cameras like this. All metal construction, by the way, folks, and it's something that I really enjoy, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep it forever, but I sold my Ricoh GR3 last year and I've been longing for a compact camera, so this is going to take its place temporarily. But folks, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, drop a like down below, and also hit that subscribe button for future street photography videos and to see more cameras like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, Minolta Gang.